OMG, it's Abby and welcome to my kitchen where I'm going to be sharing with you my famous buffalo chicken dip. So stay tuned if you want to know how to make it for everyone at home. Hello, welcome back and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be doing get down right now. We're going to be doing the highly requested buffalo chicken dip, and I am not going to be eating it today. I'm going to be eating it this weekend for the 4th of July with my family. So I'm going to walk you through how to do it, and I'm not going to do the very end of it. So first we're going to start with all of these ingredients you see right here. I have some Mexican cheese, I have a block of cream cheese, I have some ranch dressing, some hot sauce, and 2 cans of chicken. These can be any of the brands you normally use or that you like. These are just the brands that I always use. So if you want to use these exact brands, you can, but you can buy whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. So I took 2 big cans of chicken that are already in my trash can because I already emptied them out. You're going to drain them in the sink after you open them, and then you're just going to put them in a bowl so you can cut it up. So I'm going to cut it up for you right now. I'll just take a knife and a fork and I just slice it. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be super tiny or too big. It can really be whatever you want it to be. I just like to shred it up enough so when someone scoops it up on a chip, it's not a huge chunk of chicken. It's just a little bit of everything. Doesn't take too long. This whole recipe probably will take like 15 minutes maybe. It's not going to be long at all. Everything we make is going to be put in the pan and it's going to be cooked in the pan. Also, this chicken is already cooked, so it doesn't take that long once it's in the pan. We just put it in the pan to cook everything together, and then it will go in the oven at the very end. Okay, so now that it's cut up to my standards, oh my God, get off the stove. That's my cat Remy from Ratatouille. So you're going to light the stove. Just put it on a low temperature. And we're going to put the chicken in. Now, you're just going to let that sit in there to cook a little bit. You'll probably hear it sizzling. That's fine. You just want it to get nice and warmed up. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the hot sauce in. I use Frank's Red Hot hot sauce. And I don't like things super spicy, so I don't put too much in there. I know that some people do like the spice, so I put enough in there that you'll still get a little kick, but not that much. Ooh, let me just make sure it's off. Great. So you're gonna take your cap off, and then however much you want. If you like things super spicy, then you can make it super red. I'm just gonna make it like a reddish orange color because it won't be too spicy, but don't forget we're gonna add in these ingredients too, so it's gonna take down the hotness a lot. So just move around. It doesn't need to get too hot. You don't need to cook it. Like I said, it's already cooked. You just want it to get warmed up so all the ingredients melt together. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. And then you measure with your heart in this kitchen. You don't use measuring utensils, so however much you want. I do like a good 1, 2, 3, 4. And honestly, I might even put more than that, and I don't like things spicy. So it should look like that. You just mix it up. So we're just gonna mix it together. You can tell how spicy it's gonna be just by the color. Like, I don't like a lot of spice, and to me this doesn't look spicy at all. Just because I know how much lighter it's gonna get, so I'm gonna add some more. A pro tip is that I always buy the small bottles because then you can just use the whole thing. You don't have to use a giant bottle. Unless you're planning on making this like every night of the week, then you'll probably need a bigger bottle. But again, this is just all eyeballing it. I've done this enough times to know how spicy it's gonna be. And you can always add more hot sauce as the recipe goes on. So right now, it looks like this. A nice orangey color. We're gonna add in the ranch dressing. Again, measure with your heart. I love ranch dressing. I put it on everything. I'm gonna put a generous amount. That's probably like a quarter of the bottle, a third of the bottle. This is what it looks like. And my cat clearly wants to know what it looks like as well. Get off. He's gonna turn orange by the end of this. All right. Again, just mix it together. Keep the oven, keep the stove on low heat. It doesn't need to be super high. Again, it's just hot so we can mix all of these ingredients together, not necessarily to cook it all the way through. So, because I've done this enough times, I can tell you just by looking at this color that this is gonna be super spicy. So, well, for me, super spicy. To other people who like spice, probably won't even taste it, I don't know. But, so now it's like a nice corally color, you can see. We're gonna put the entire block of cream cheese in. I personally don't like cream cheese, but the cream cheese changes the game, let me tell you. It makes it super creamy and it takes down the heat a lot too. So if you're like me and you don't like things super, super spicy, that's the oven. I forgot to mention that. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. This is just for the very end, so we can cook the cheese onto the top. That's actually the part that I'm not even gonna do today. I'm not even gonna show you, so don't even know why I turned my oven on, but that's fine. All right. Technical difficulties here. All right. So I recommend leaving your cream cheese out to get to like room temperature, but I just came from the store, so mine's still a little bit cold, which is fine. It just means that it's gonna have to sit in the pan for a little bit longer just to make sure that it melts all the way through and you can mix it. So I'm gonna put that right in the middle. Throw that out. And you're just gonna let it sit there and melt a little bit. That's what it looks like. Like a huge glob of cream cheese. Sometimes I like cover it with the chicken so that way it will melt faster. And then you just need to give it some time and it will melt. So while we're waiting for that to melt, after this step, I'm gonna open this cheese and I'm just gonna put like a sprinkle in just to mix it in and make sure it's like cheesy when it pulls apart, because that makes it really, really good. Judging by the color of this when the cream cheese melts, I'll let you know if I would put any more hot sauce in or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I just don't. It's really different every time you make it. And then after that, we're gonna put it into a pan. I'm going to use a tin, like a tin foil pan, just because I'm gonna be bringing it up to the lake and I want easy transport and we can throw it away after so it won't cause a mess. If it's not all gonna fit in there, I do have a second one. But you'll just put it in your pan, put it in the oven and just wait for the cheese to melt. Like I said, everything's already gonna be cooked through. That was good. Everything's already gonna be cooked through. So we're not putting it in the oven necessarily to cook it, we're just wanting the cheese to melt. Wow, good thing I had my apron on, that could have been a disaster. It's never happened before in the however many years I've been cooking this, so you got a once in a lifetime show. Of course everything's white in here too. This is what happens with live TV, you know, even though this isn't live. Turn the heat down a little bit. Yeah, this is still pretty solid. Just came from the grocery store freezer. If you're making this for like a big crowd, you can always double the recipe, but I wouldn't recommend any more than 4 cans of chicken. 4 cans of chicken is a lot. This right here is a batch of 2 cans of chicken and 1 block of cream cheese. So if you're gonna do 4 cans of chicken, you're gonna need 2 blocks of cream cheese. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna need a pan big enough, but this will feed a ton of people. There's gonna be like probably 20 people up there this weekend, and I guarantee everyone will be able to eat this. So it feeds a lot. So now that it's melting, it's becoming a lot lighter in color, which is good because that means it's going to be a lot creamier and it's not going to be as spicy. Again, if you like the spice, feel free. Oh my God, I'm trying to like dodge the exploded chicken. If you like it more spicy, feel free to add more of the hot sauce. But if you're like me and you like it more creamy and not necessarily as hot, then you can always add more ranch. But I wouldn't add any more until the cream cheese is totally melted and you can see what the color is. So I need to like... So don't mind that the cream cheese isn't fully melted yet, but that's what it's turning out to look like. It's turning out to be like a light orange. That's what we want. We want it as a light orange. Yeah, that's like perfect. So now that the cream cheese is melted, it's become a lot easier to stir. This is the consistency you want. You don't want it too watery, you don't want it too creamy, you don't want it too chunky. This is like perfect right here. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna add, don't mind the mess, we're going to add some cheese, just a sprinkle, not too much. Like, probably like that much. We're just gonna sprinkle it in. Turn it down to low, doesn't need to be too high. Put that there and mix it up. So now when you're mixing it, you should be able to see the cheese pull apart a little bit, get a little stringy. Here you can see. Nice and stringy. Not too much cheese. That's like the perfect color. That's what you want it to look like. That's going to be the perfect amount of spice, I think. And creaminess. But again, if you want to add any more of the ingredients in, you can. I'm not going to. I think this is perfect. And then from here, we're just going to transfer it over to a pan. So like I said, I don't know if all of it's going to fit in here. It probably won't. So I have my backup pan ready. If you're not traveling and you want to cook it in a regular pan, you can. I would recommend cooking it in like a Pyrex dish, something glass. That's usually what I cook it in, but again, I'm traveling this weekend, so it's going to go into here. All right, let me put some pot holders down, just in case. Perfect. All right. Turn this off. Let's see if we can get all to fit in one. Oh yeah, there we go. It should all just slide right out. That's how creamy it should be. And if it doesn't, obviously, you can scrape it out. Perfect. Don't mind the mess because we had a kitchen explosion. So we don't need that anymore. So we'll just spread it evenly out. And then from here, I'm not going to do it right now just because it's going to melt and I don't want it to melt right now. But if I was going to eat it now, or if I was making it for like a big game or a game night or something where people are coming over, I'd cover the top of this in cheese and put it right into the oven and just wait for the cheese to melt. Once the cheese is melted, you can take it right out and then you can eat it right then and there. But again, I'm traveling this weekend, so I'm gonna wait for this to cool down a bit. I'm gonna sprinkle my cheese on it, cover it up, bring it in the car, and then once I'm ready to eat it, I'm gonna pop it into the oven, wait for the cheese to melt, and then it's good to go. So super easy. Didn't take long. I don't know how long that was. I wasn't timing myself, but not too long. Keep it on low to avoid a kitchen explosion like I just had. It's very mess free, especially if you're using something that you can throw away. You won't need to wash any dishes. The only thing I'm gonna have to wash is the bowl that I put the chicken in, the pan, and the spoon. Other than that, you're good to go. And honestly, you don't even need to put the chicken in the bowl if you don't want to. You can keep it in the little cans and cut it up there with a knife. Sometimes that's easier. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Super easy. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me at After Hours Abby, and I can get back to you with any questions you have about this or any other cooking videos that you want to do. OMG!